So, briefly, what made you want to work with Lancaster survivors?
I think I wanted to set it up because I didn't want someone to go through what I did.
So how long has the page been running for now?
So we set it up in October of 2020, I think, like October, November time.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do for the organisation?
So I do a lot of the educational side of Lancaster Survivors, so I create a lot of the infographics.
I founded it, but I also am in charge of making the posts. So I'll read through all the submissions, I'll put them all together.
So do you get a lot of support from other societies or organisations?
We actually probably get most of our support from the other survivor pages sort of across the whole of the UK, and then some in America as well, which is really cool. And we often get people from different countries reaching out to us. And I also think if our page can lessen someone's pain by just like 1%, then it's completely worth it.
So what would you suggest for someone to do if they had been sexually assaulted?
It's honestly up to the survivor, whatever they want to do. They can go to the police if they want to, they can go to university, they can report it anonymously, they can leave it. Our position is just to support people, not to make them do something that they don't want to do.
So in your view, how would you describe Lancaster?
There's a lot of circles that overlap. You'll never really meet anybody that you don't know. It's a really lovely place.
I think the reason I actually picked it was because I liked how quiet it was. It's very kind of out of the way. There's not really that many shops, but it's got the most amazing views.
What made you want to take part in the documentary today?
I really hope we can shine a bit more light on experiences within Lancaster and then just experiences with sexual violence in general.
I think maybe if I can explain my story, someone else might hear it and be like, oh, that's me. And they would know not only that they're not alone, but also that they're not crazy.
I think to speak out now feels like a big act of defiance against my attacker.
That's fine, just take your time. But in as many or as little words as you like, just please tell us your story.
It took place in January of 2020.
The 1st of October.
It was a Thursday.
I was sexually assaulted by my ex-boyfriend when he thought that I was asleep.
I was in my parents' room.
I go back to my grand's and we're having like a boozy games night.
I went home with a friend of a friend who then anally raped me.
Basically when I was 9.
I was 19.
18.
Like, you know, he was kind of like a father figure at first.
And then I was like, oh my god, Tina's done that.
It was a very shocking time of my life because I didn't know what happened. I kind of laughed it off.
I didn't know what was going on.
But at the time, I had no idea what was happening to me.
I told a few friends at first.
And then my mum rang the police.
She asked me, what is the thing that he doesn't want you saying? And that was the first time I said it out loud to someone.
I had just come back from school and I had to do my homework. So I went to my stepdad. Instead, he molested me, and he kept doing this once or twice a week for maybe 2 years. The worst it got for me was when I was, I think, 6th grade or 7th grade. I'd come back from school and I was very upset. And so I told my stepdad, and then he was like, oh, I'm gonna make you feel better. It's okay, don't worry, I'll talk to your mom and everything will be fine. And that's when I started feeling uncomfortable. He just pushed me down, and I don't remember much, again, because my brain just kind of, I just remember flashes of like seeing the door and trying to leave, but it felt like so far away.
I got like a message on my phone off this guy I'm speaking to, and he's like, heart eyes emojis, and I'm like, hold up, where did you get this photo? Like, I haven't posted it, it's a bikini photo. And there was like 50 photos of just boobs, bum, bikinis, embarrassing photos, everything. And all these photos were going into them group chats, and it was like the worst thing to happen. It was just horrible. My sister was seeing these, my sister's boyfriend. I work at McDonald's, so many people that I work with have gone on Snapchat, all seen it.
The assault itself was very quiet. I think what I had always thought of assault and sexual assault was that it was very violent and that I would know it when it was happening to me. But I didn't realise that was what it was. And arguably the most violent part of the whole thing happened at the very end. When he'd finished, he kissed me on the back of my neck and he said that he loved me. And then he left the room. And it was just painful to think that he viewed that as an act of love. And I remember rolling over after it finished, and I went downstairs and I actually passed him on the steps. And he said to me that he was surprised to see that I was awake, which, when I think about that now, was just a confirmation that what he was doing, he knew he was doing without consent. But unfortunately after that, because I was living with my attacker, I had to move out, and he refused to do so. And it ended up with me paying thousands of pounds to escape him, which became so interwoven with the attack itself that I think the financial difficulty that it brought me meant that the healing took a little bit longer.
I had gone home with the intention of having sex, but he then decided to anally rape me and told me that he would do whatever the fuck he wanted with me. It was a very shocking time of my life because I didn't know what happened. I kind of laughed it off, and then I told a friend, and it sort of went downhill from there because I didn't actually realise what had happened to me.
So why do you think people victim blame based on clothing?
I mean, it's the first thing people look at when, after a crime, like obviously the police come and collect your clothes, so I think it's the first thing people judge and say, oh, you're to blame.
How do you think perpetrators should be handled?
Victims should be listened to more, specifically in mine, they only got cautioned, and it would be nice, to have a bit of something that protects the victim and allows the victim to kind of acknowledge that it was a crime and not just something they've been through.
How's this event influenced or changed your opinion of Lancaster?
I think, unfortunately, it has changed my opinion a lot of Lancaster, more in a way that I didn't realise it was happening. There are certain streets I can't walk down anymore, certain places on campus I can't go to because my body doesn't feel safe there, and I'll enter into like a fight or flight response, and I'll have a panic attack or an anxiety attack or something.
How do you think friends and family can support those who have been sexually assaulted or abused?
I think listening is the most important thing.
Listen, don't judge.
Listen.
Lancaster Survivors from the very beginning has always been about creating a voice for survivors and elevating survivor voices.